Hi ADHD friends, ready to become gutsy cooks? Let's start now. Gather. This is your step where you're going to get your equipment and ingredients. Remember, while you're gathering your equipment and your ingredients, you're also gathering yourself. You're getting ready to cook and have a positive mindset and expect a positive outcome. The reason I read this list is for those of us who are visually impaired. That will help. You can also skip to the next section or pause this list up on your screen while you collect the ingredients and then move forward to the next timestamp, which is get ready. The equipment is a baking sheet, parchment paper, 2 mixing bowls, a hand mixer, little bowls, measuring spoons, measuring cups, 2 spoons, a pancake turner, and a wire rack. For ingredients, you'll need 1 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of light brown sugar, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1½ cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 cups of oats. Get ready. The first thing you're going to do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Then you're going to place parchment paper on the baking sheet. You can cut it, fold it, or rip it with the nice ripped ends you see on the video. Then you're going to get out those little bowls and you're going to pre-measure all of the ingredients into the little bowls. This is through the magic of television, so don't think that you have to do this as quickly as you're seeing on the video, but I didn't think you wanted to sit through watching me fish the eggshells out of those eggs I just broke. Yep, I make mistakes too. So all the time. Baking soda, salt, cinnamon. After you measure them into the little bowls, you can go ahead and combine them or then throw them into the bowl of flour. And then I ran out of little bowls and it wouldn't have held this anyway. This is the 2 cups of oatmeal. Combine. So you have your sugars and you're going to put them in the mixing bowl. As you see here, your brown sugar and your white sugar. And then you're going to take the 2 sticks of butter and use your hand mixer to what we call cream the butters and sugars together. And you can see it takes a little bit of doing. Be sure to hold on to your mixing bowl so it doesn't fly away. But you really want to get the sugar well incorporated into that softened butter. You notice I held the beaters over the bowl to make sure they stopped before I took them out of the bowl, because anything that flings off those beaters, you want to have it fling in the bowl, not all around your kitchen. So here we've added the egg and the vanilla, and we're just getting the wet ingredients a little wetter before we put the dry ingredients together. I'm going around the sides of the bowl with the hand mixer because things tend to get stuck to the side of the bowl. If you have a lot stuck to the side of the bowl, you can always take a spatula and scrape it. Now we're putting the dry ingredients together with the flour and the baking soda, salt, and cinnamon. Take that and really count to 30 while you mix it together. You see how I'm really mixing it in different directions, from the bottom, from the sides, and the reason is if that baking soda is not fully incorporated in there, or the salt, someone is going to get a big mouthful of bitter baking soda or salt. So now we take the wet ingredients and we go ahead and in this recipe, you can add the dry ingredients all at once. It's not like that with every recipe. And you're going to start your hand mixer on the lowest level so that the dry flour mixture doesn't fly all over the kitchen. I also suggest using a bigger bowl than you normally would, or you maybe think you should, just so everything is down deep into the bowl. That keeps it from flying everywhere when you're using a hand mixer. And this is much the same. See, you can go ahead and take a spatula and scrape the edges. It looks like there's a lot there, but really there wasn't. You're going to add that oatmeal, and again with the hand mixer. You don't want to overmix because then the cookies can become hard. It activates the gluten in the flour too much, and the cookies become hard. So you're just going to mix it just enough to make sure it's well mixed together. All right, now we're going to get ready to put the mixture by the spoonfuls onto the baking sheet. And you can see here I've taken a bit of the mixture, and they do not have to be in round balls. These cookies, because of the high butter content, they spread out. So they're not going to be the original shape you make them in. Not with this type of cookie. They're going to melt into their own rounded structure. So you can see I take some on the spoon, round it a little bit, and then arrange it on the cookie sheet. When they say 2 inches apart for this recipe, it really means 2 inches apart. You do not want these cookies running into each other. When they touch each other, they start to build up steam within each other, and then they can get too moist and they don't cook properly. So now we're at heat. You're going to put these in the oven and bake them for 10 minutes. Please set a timer or 2 timers as I recommend. And when finished, remove from the oven with your dry pot holders. Remember, always use something dry to take things out of the oven or you'll get a steam burn. Finish and serve. So as these cookies come out of the oven, you have your wire rack and your spatula or pancake turner there that you're ready with. There are the cookies. You can see how they've spread out. We only got a couple touching edges there, but just barely. You have 2 options here. You can take them off the pan like I'm doing immediately, but these cookies are rather soft. Another option is you can slide the parchment paper right off the cookie sheet and let them sit on the wire rack on the paper for 5 minutes and then remove them from the paper, because you see in your bottom left corner, that one didn't make it. That's okay. It was well taken care of. And then you're going to serve them on a pretty plate, just like that. This recipe does make 4 dozen cookies, so 48 cookies in all. Extra fancy. Okay, you can add half a cup of raisins, dried cherries, or mini chocolate chips. You would mix them in after the oatmeal step. Careful. As I mentioned, mix the dry ingredients well. No one wants a mouth full of bitter baking soda or salt. And if the cookies look wet in the middle, return them to the oven and bake for 2 more minutes. Just take a look. If it looks like, ooh, they kind of look gooey there, put it in, 2 more minutes, set another timer for sure. Thank you for your time and attention. Now go get gutsy. If you like this recipe, please subscribe.